Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be telling you guys my banlist predictions for this upcoming format, but without too much, I'm going to go ahead and jump on into it. Alright, so starting off with the bans, of course we have Kit Kalos. Kit Kalos just being a really powerful card, being able to mill 5 cards when it's sent to the graveyard, as well as being able to be sent off of multiple different things, and very easy to summon using your tier limit engine. I find that either this card or Instant Fusion has to go. However, I feel like Kit Kalos is more of a problem than the Instant Fusion. However, some people could argue with that. However, I think that would just be what I would hit. Alright, and of course for Floowandereeze, I do have Barrier Statue, the Stormwind's going to 0, mainly because this card is searchable in the deck, as well as just being able to easily normal summon it, so that way your opponent will not be able to summon monsters, except for wind, and I feel like that kind of interaction in this game is not healthy. So I think, and I believe a lot of other people will agree with me, that Barrier Statue of the Stormwinds has to go. However, obviously, I could see arguments for the other Barrier Statues. However, because they aren't really doing anything, I feel like the only one that really is giving a problem is Stormwinds. Alright, and so the last card that I would put on the forbidden list, and this is only personal opinion, I can understand why you guys would not agree, but I think that it's about time for Bagooska, the Terribly Tired Taper, to finally hit the bucket. Reason why I say that this card is so powerful is it is able to literally lock your opponent out of activating their monster effects on field because they're put in defense position, and the only way you can out it is with link monsters. I feel like this card is so splashable, being able to go into it with like your Dark World deck, or even Tier Limit can make this deck, as well as a bunch of other decks. And I just feel like this card has been in the game long enough and has not been touched, and it is currently to the point where it's getting unchecked. So honestly, I think that is just too powerful right now, and maybe in the future can come back off, but I think Bagooska needs to go. Alright, starting off with the limited section, of course we do have Primeval Planet Perlino, just being able to, on activation, search for a tier limit card, as well as being able to, on the effect of another one, being able to shuffle back into the deck. You can then pop a card. That is just really powerful, being able to get a card off your opponent's field, as well as searching for your tier limit monsters, and I feel like that card should go to 1, for obvious reasons. Continuing on, we also do have tier limit Sheeran, just because this card is also really powerful, being able to, on summon, being able to discard a card from your hand, which is obviously a really good way to start tier limit plays, as well as, of course, the effect of if it hits the graveyard, you can then just put that and other cards from your graveyard back to the bottom of the deck to fusion summon. Reason why I say to hit Sheeran is obvious because on summon, discard a card is really powerful, but I think that hitting the amount of tier elements doesn't kill the deck, it just slows it down quite a lot. Continuing on, we also do have tier limit Havanez. Reason why I put Havanez on this list is because just being able to, on either player's turn, quick effect while it's in hand, just discard it if your opponent activates a monster effect, and then just mill extra cards. Like, literally, it allows them to play on turn 0, and it makes the game quite unfair when they see that card. But honestly, I think that it's kind of obvious that Havanez needs to go, because it just makes it to where you play on your opponent's turn too much, and it's just, quite frankly, very annoying. Alright, and of course, we can't just be hitting tier limit cards when obviously the Shizu cards are also a problem. And I understand if some of you guys think that it is too early for an Shizu hit, because it did come out not that long ago. But honestly, out of all of the Shizu monsters, I feel like the one that is the biggest threat right now is Keldo, the Sacred Protector, just because the fact of it allows you to search for your other Shizu monsters, as well as being able to have your both players milling cards. That is just way too powerful, and it allows for way too much to happen all in one turn. And for obvious reasons, it is one of the most powerful cards in the Ishizu tier limit deck. Continuing on for the tier limits and Ishizus, I will say that they should also be limiting Sprite Starter, because it is, as it says, a starter that can also be activated on your opponent's turn, just to be able to get you to your blue or your jet, just to be able to get you, give you a search. And honestly, I feel like that is just way too powerful, being able to use it on both players' turn. And yes, I do understand that you have to pay life points to summon your monster. However, that doesn't really matter too much in today's metagame, where it's just focused on field presence, negations, and overall disruption. I think that if they hit Sprite Starter, then it would make the deck quite a bit more fair and a little bit less consistent, while still being able to search it off of Jet, but that makes it to where you can't search it over and over off Jet. Now moving to the cards that I think come to the limited list from other places on the Forbidden List. Starting off, we do have Orcust Harpoor. Main reason why I say that we can release Orcust Harpoor from the ban list is just for the reason of Bestials as a deck. Bestials with engines being able to just banish dark cards, like, releasing Orcust Harpoor does nothing. And of course, right now, I feel like one of the best cards that can come back, because obviously Konami has released a few Pendulum archetypes right now. I feel like right now would be one of the best times to release Heavy Metal Foes Electromite, just to be able to add extra consistency to the Pendulum decks, as well as giving Triff back his favorite card. But I feel like that card is completely fair. It's in at 1 on Master Duel, and Pendulum is really not doing anything over there. So I feel like right now is one of the best times to add Heavy Metal Foes Electromite back into the game. Continuing on, we also do have Blaster. Blaster is a really good card, however, I feel like it wouldn't be seeing too much play, except out of fire strategies like Salamangreats, and possibly some stuff in Dragon Link with, of course, all of their monsters being dragons. However, the only downside to releasing this card as well is it is a level 7, and there are a lot of good level 7 rank plays out there. Just saying that it might not be the best idea to release it, however, it is still not that good of a card. Continuing on, we do have Prank Kids Meow Meow Moo. I think that this card is completely fair to come back due to the fact of, right now with the Bestials running around, unchecked almost, I feel like we do need a few decks that can actually be sprinkled in there and do well at a top event. So I feel like Prank Kids getting Meow Meow Moo back to 1 will not bring the deck to top meta. However, it will allow it to perform once again and be a really good deck this format. Ever since recently, Konami has been releasing more and more old cards off the ban list, and I feel like right now one of the best cards that can be released that was banned a long time ago is Trap Dust Shoot. For those who don't know what Trap Dust Shoot says, it is a normal trap that just says if your opponent has 6 or more cards in their hand, look at their hand and discard a card. Really powerful card, however, it also has the downside of if your opponent activates, let's say, a hand trap, they won't have enough cards in hand on draw phase, so you can't just rip a card immediate, and mainly it'll just punish people for having hand traps or left over or getting rid of one of their starters. However, most decks right now, if they have a starter, that starter has a good graveyard effect. So honestly, I feel like this deck could come back at pretty good power, and it'll be able to check the decks that like to draw a lot, and I think that is just completely fair to come back at this point. Now, I do want to address a few cards that people are calling for getting limited or putting to limited from bans, and why I think that they cannot. Starting off, we do have the discussion of Branded Fusion to 1. Main reason why I feel like Konami will not be putting Branded Fusion to 1 is right now they're trying to complete their storyline with the Branded, the Despia, all that other stuff. So right now they're trying to combine Branded with Bestials. I feel like right now would not be the smartest idea on Konami's part to hit the Branded engine, just because they're trying to push the Bestials for that kind of deck. I've seen a lot of discussion about Thunder Dragon Colossus possibly going to 1. I feel like right now is not the best idea, with cards like Nemesis Corridor being able to summon it for practically for free, as well as the Sprite engine running around. I feel like Colossus would be just too powerful right now to give back to the players, so that's why I feel like Konami should not release that card from the list. Continuing on into the semi-limited list, we do have a few cards that I would personally move off the list into semi-limited. However, there are no cards that I could see going from unbanned to 2 copies and really doing anything right now. However, we all know how Konami is. We're going to get some random card put on there for no reason, apparently. Starting off, I believe that Salamander Gazelle could easily go from being at 1 to going to 2, because honestly, Salamander is not doing anything right now, as well as it underperforming at a lot of events and not really showing up that often. And with Gazelle being the only card that they have currently hit, why not just free the entire deck and let people play full power Salamangreats when full power is hardly doing anything at all. Continuing on, we do have Sky Striker Mobilize Multi-Roll. This card is pretty powerful, however, right now with the deck not seeing any play at all, We just need that little bit of recursion, being able to set the spell cards from the graveyard during the end phase. And I feel like this card is not broken enough to be at its limited status. Alright, so to wrap up the semi-limited list, I do also have Sky Striker Mobilize Engage on this list because this card could easily come back to 2 because right now this deck is doing absolutely nothing, and right now with the Bestials running around, all they have to do is just Bestial your Ray, and you practically would just lose the game at that point. I feel like this card could come back for the fact of the deck needs extra consistency to compete, and the only downside to this card is, of course, if other decks start using it again, and we could lose our Hornet Drones. But honestly, I would trade our Hornet Drones for another copy of Engage any day of the week. And for all those who are saying that Max D should come back to 3, I feel like that card is definitely not going to come back, especially for the fact that Sprite is still a deck, and that card is still searchable within the deck. So with that being said, that card can never come back. And of course, to wrap up this list, we of course have to go look at the cards that can come off the list. Of course, first of those being Lyrilisk, Recital Starling. This card really does nothing anymore, especially because Tri-Brigade Lyrilisk isn't that good of a deck anymore. And really, this card has no reason to be on the semi-limited list. Might as well just go ahead and put it to 3. Then the final card I want to look at today is, of course, Pot of Desires. For some reason, this card is still at 2 when most people would only run 2 in the first place. However, I think that with cards like, of course, Pot of Prosperity and Pot of Extravagance, this card should have been at 3 multiple lists ago. But that's really all I can say about that. Alright, so with all that being said, be sure to leave a like, comment down below what you guys think of this list. Tell me what you guys would personally change, and tell me what you guys disagree with. Just be sure to keep it civil. As well as also go check out the description for my Twitter, where I keep constant updates, as well as we do polls and we do discussions. And who knows, sometimes some of the stuff I do can be put into a video. So be sure to head on over there and check me out, as well as follow. But with that being said, guys, that's going to be about it. And I'll see you guys next time. See ya!